The sovereign civilization belongs to a relatively special civilization in the universe. When most civilizations in the universe are in an environment where men and women are almost equal, the sovereign civilization still follows the matrilineal society. The status of men in sovereign civilization is directly different from that of women. This also makes sovereign rarely see male managers. Your Majesty, the Master of the Nine Realms. Skia showed a hesitant expression and rubbed his hands together, showing the tension in his heart. Or because he knelt for too long, his face would be as flattering as possible. In a matrilineal society, if you want to be in the top position, I am afraid that the other party already knows how to please others. Luo Tang didn't comment on the other party's social situation. After all, it was a matter of the entire civilization of the other party, and it was not his turn to intervene. Following Sky's gaze, he saw the steel titanium battery he got from Yondu. After thinking about it, Luo Tang asked, "How did Yondu get this battery from you guys?" The distance from steel titanium batteries has been understood by Luo Tang a long time ago, and it is not too esoteric. It is like a power bank for human beings, except that it provides super energy of aerospace level. This kind of thing is completely dispensable to him. Your Majesty, Master of the Nine Realms, we invite the interstellar predators to destroy the multidimensional space monsters that swallow the steel titanium batteries. After the mission is completed, we see that they are relatively reputable, so we are going to let them escort a batch of steel titanium batteries. Titanium battery. Skia embarrassedly explained the cause and effect. To put it bluntly, the people of Sovereign felt that their lives were more precious, so they hired Yondu and others. After exterminating the monsters, he also wanted to let them do some work by the way. Just halfway, Yondu saw the task of capturing Angel worth 1 million, and flew over without saying a word. According to this situation, basically when it comes to the things in Yondu's hands, it is impossible to spit them out. Skia and his group couldn't explain to their high priest, so they could only follow them. If there is no Luo Tang, there is a high probability that these people will take some money to eliminate the disaster, and they will not let the high priest know the specific things. Okay, you take it away. Luo Tang waved his hand. For the sake of being a man, he didn't make things difficult for this guy. Being in a place like Sovereign is miserable enough. If he made it difficult again, the other party might have to commit suicide on the spot. Your Majesty, the benevolent Master of the Nine Realms, I will definitely report your kind deeds to the High Priest. Sky bowed again and again with a look of old tears. God is pitiful, he was actually thinking just now whether he should directly betray Soren. After all, he really couldn't bear the punishment after going back. Neza obediently followed behind Luo Tang, looking at the strange monsters around him. In his concept, there was originally only the difference between humans and demons. But in the eyes of his mother and the people of Chentongguan, these creatures in front of him should all belong to monsters. Why can you and them? Neza's face was full of doubts, and he wanted to ask, but he didn't know how to organize the words. Huh. Do they look like monsters? Luo Tang easily saw through what Neza was thinking. This little fellow showed almost every thought on his face. Rubbing Neza's little head, he didn't continue until the other party looked like he wanted to bite him. Everyone is actually just a creature born in the universe. With the same intelligence, life is equal. Moreover, appearance, origin, and race cannot determine the birth of a new. Only you. Can you choose the path you want to take? Huh. What did your mother tell you? No, it was my father who told me. Neza raised his head, and when he talked about his father Li Jing, there was a bit of awkwardness on his face. There is no parent who does not love their children. Luo Tang patted little Neza on the head, shook his head slightly, and didn't say much. Skia on the side, when he was chatting with Neza, had already reported the matter here to the High Priest of Sovereign. As for the other civilizations on the scene, Luo Tang dealt with the Kree civilization forcefully. After showing kindness to Sovereign, they also began to communicate with Angel in an orderly manner. Don't dare to come out and pick stabs. Originally, what Luo Tang represents today is not only a Proxima Centauri, but also not only an Angel civilization. After Odin informed the Nine Realms of his abdication, his words and deeds already represent the entire Nine Realms. Once a war really starts, it will be a war between them and all civilizations in the Nine Realms. Don't look at the usual rambunctious joy of the Nine Realms, some people often dissatisfied with Odin's management. But when facing the civilizations outside, the Nine Realms will unite to the outside world. In the universe, it is simply terrifyingly strong. Honorable Master of the Nine Realms, High Priest of our clan, I hope to be able to talk to you. After reporting the situation, Sovalinskaya returned to Luo Tang's side again with a look of apprehension. Kneeling respectfully on one knee, he held up a video communicator with both hands. The crazy woman. Luo Tang frowned, looked at Skaya's crying expression, and clicked on the other party's communicator casually. Drop. The originally dim video communicator lights up. Under the multi-dimensional projection technology, the three-dimensional image of Aisha, the High Priest of Sovereign, appeared in front of Luo Tang. Blonde hair, golden crown, golden throne, skin, eye pupils, clothing, accessories. The High Priest Aisha was almost gold from head to toe, and there was no variegation on her body at all. With an intellectual smile on her face, she nodded slightly and said, "The ruler of the 9 realms, Luo the master of the 9 realms, thank you for recapturing the steel titanium battery for us, so that our people of Sovereign can be protected from the threat of war and interstellar predators." "It's not a big deal." Luo Tang shrugged and didn't take this thank you very much. Sovereigns are different from the general cosmic races, they are almost all products of science. People in the entire civilization are bred in artificial leather by controlling DNA through genetic technology. Therefore, this race is more life-saving than ordinary people. They feel that every Sovereign citizen is a work of art. Only when each job needs, they will make the corresponding sovereign. It's not a big deal in your eyes, but in the hearts of sovereigns, your kindness will be remembered. Okay, follow you. Respected Master Luo of the 9 realms, may I take the liberty to ask you a few questions? Excuse me. Does your noble blood come from Asgard? No. Luo Tang raised his eyebrows, with a strange look in his eyes, subconsciously recalling what happened to Xingju in Sovereign. If he remembers correctly, this perverted race seems to have a penchant for absorbing excellent genetic blood. It is widely rumored that your golden wings have incomparably holy power, is it true? When the High Priest Aisha talked about the golden wings, she couldn't help showing a bit of strong desire in her eyes. They are extremely paranoid about all golden genes, and they are obviously eyeing Luo Tang's wings. I said its power is not very holy, I guess you don't believe it. Master of the 9 worlds, Luo, do you ever have the idea of killing the Son of God? Nothing now. Then do you think, High Priest Sovereign, as qualified to conduct an academic discussion with you on the way of ancient life inheritance? High Priest Aisha said things that made goosebumps indifferently. At the scene, except that Neza couldn't understand these words, Ulkiola was not interested in them at all. The rest of the people all looked like they had seen a ghost. The little angels following behind Luo Tang were stunned when they heard such shameless words. In the dark communication channel of the heavens, the pot exploded because of this. This golden guy actually wants to have a with the king of the heavens. Damn. Is this something I dare not even think about? How can she have the face to say it? I think she should be taught how to be the king of the heavens. Draw your sword for the Tianji king. Defend the Tianji king's male god. It is for the king of the heavens to draw the sword. Is it just me who thinks that it should be for the 3 kings of angel? Don't worry about it, just draw your sword. There was a commotion in the dark communication channel of the heavens. The high-ranking angel Ling, who had been standing by Luo Tang's side all the time, had a cold gleam in his eyes. The words of High Priest Sovereign to Angel are completely provoking war. Ahem. I'm not such a casual person, so I don't need to say more to thank you. I wish you a happy life. Luo Tang's cheeks twitched, and after finishing speaking, he decisively hung up the other party's video communication. Nima. Let this woman go on talking, and the bunch of little angels behind him will definitely blow their hair. The people around, at the moment, also had expressions of shame on their faces. Sovereign diplomat Skia, who had been kneeling on the ground, almost cried directly. Is he being cheated by the High Priest? Those angels looked at him, clearly wanting to kill him immediately. The High Priest of Sovereign is actually very beautiful. Yeah, I don't understand why the Master of the 9 realms refused. High Priest Sovereign, is Angel as beautiful? I have never seen a creature as beautiful as Angel. That's right, has a sumptuous dinner. Who wants to eat dry pancakes? Many alien civilization visitors staying on the tarmac kept whispering to each other. Luo Tang curled his lips, didn't bother to pay attention to them, and turned to look at Angel Ling. I'll leave it to you to deal with it here. Those who have bad intentions will be imprisoned, and those who can communicate with each other will be released. Yes, the King of the Heavens. Ling nodded, and gave the order without the slightest hesitation. Neza, Ulquiorra, let's make a decision. Luo Tang waved his hand and headed towards Proxima Centauri, the core of the supercomputing group in the sky. Can I stay here? Neza looked at all kinds of people on the tarmac with nostalgia. Here, he didn't feel the slightest bit of contempt, fear and disgust. Even though these people are monsters in the eyes of ordinary people, he likes this feeling very much. Definitely yes, after Ling finishes handling things, you can let her play with you. Luo Tang said with a smile, and Ling, who was on the side, glanced at the little Neza, and nodded slightly. Luo Tang took Ulquiorra and flew towards the core of Proxima Centauri. The fixed star of the Centaur galaxy is only 1/7 of the file size of the fixed star of the solar system, and its galaxy is naturally much smaller. The area of Proxima Centauri is almost only 1/3 of the Earth's file size. But this third is already an extremely vast area. There is no such abundant water resource as the Earth, and the land directly accounts for more than 80% of the total area. Luo Tang looked at the supercomputing group signal transmitters that looked like large signal towers, and the faintly visible green plants around him, with a satisfied smile on his face. After the original Proxima Centauri was abandoned, there was no sign of life, and the planet was only filled with black and gray colors. If there is no accident, it may take hundreds of millions of years for this planet to give birth to a new civilization. The arrival of the Angels changed all that. Using materials from the Thanos Legion battleships they brought back, they completely remodeled a large area. Not only did it control all kinds of radiation pollution here, but it also allowed some green plants to grow on the planet. Although the area of the All-Heaven Supercomputing Group currently accounts for less than 1% of Proxima Centauri. But the environment of Proxima Centauri has already begun to change drastically. Maybe in another 2 years, this place will become the same as the Mela Tianting, an ideal garden with too much beauty. Report on the progress. Luo Tang took Ulquiorra into the main control room of the Tiantian Supercomputing Group. More than a dozen angels are sitting in front of the hexing control ball, maintaining the operation of the supercomputing group in the sky. Seeing him coming in, he hurriedly wanted to get up and salute. You don't need to salute, just say it. Luo Tang waved his hand, and casually sat down in front of the throne in the main control room. I am mid-level Angel GE, and I will report to you the progress of the Tiantian Supercomputing Group plan. The 1024 frequency plan of level 1 has been basically completed. The dark energy radiation range has reached 100 light-years without a base station. Establish a base station, which can reach 100,000 light-years. Has the second phase plan been launched? Luo Tang raised his eyebrows. The computing speed of 1024 frequencies is not the limit of the supercomputing group of the heavens, nor is it the limit of the celestial computer. The diameter of the Milky Way is 100,000 light-years. That is to say, even if there is a base station for the supercomputing group of level 1, it can barely provide support for selection calculations, databases, and arsenals in the Milky Way. The universe outside the Milky Way is still infinitely vast, which obviously cannot meet Luo Tang's requirements. The supercomputing group of the heavens has plans for the second and third stages, the purpose of which is naturally to cover most of the known regions of the universe. Luo Tang will eventually create the Tiantian Supercomputing Group into an astronomical computer beyond the Big Clock. You must know that the All-Heaven Supercomputing Group is different from the space-based supercomputing group. It relies on the entire Proxima Centauri. In terms of size alone, the supercomputing groups of the heavens in the future will be hundreds or thousands of times larger than the space-based supercomputing groups. King of the Heavens, the second phase of the plan has not yet started. According to the previous plan, we will start the assembly and construction of the warships of the heavens in the near future. Angel GE lowered his head slightly and reported truthfully. That's right. This is the theme frame material and core engine of the warships of the heavens. I will leave it to you, and go online on the battleships of the heavens as soon as possible. Luo Tang nodded, flipped his hands and took out a palm-sized black box from the system warehouse. This black box is an assembly formed by changing the space structure and condensing under the void engine, whose space gem is the core of void particles. As long as you unlock the black box, the main frame and the theme of the battleship will be revealed. Before the supercomputing group of the heavens is equipped with void-level weapons, the deterrent effect formed by the outside world is still limited. And if the warships of the heavens can start to serve, many dare not say. At least in the Milky Way, there will be no forces that can threaten the existence of Proxima Centauri. Yes, the King of the Heavens. Angel GE took over the black box and placed it outside the control room. After the battleship had already prepared for berthing, the supercomputing group of the heavens quickly began to analyze the Angel Dark communication code left on it. Spatial fluctuations frantically gather in the moorings. The black box, which was originally the size of a palm, keeps getting bigger at an astonishing speed. The unknown alloy on the outside of the black box is constantly changing like the shape-shifting King Kong's exoskeleton armor. When the pitch-black case is reversed, revealing the golden-red lacquer underneath. Kaka. Amidst the constantly mechanical reorganization and roaring sounds, the height was nearly 10,000 meters high, and the width was nearly 6 kilometers. Luo Tang had obvious surprise in his eyes. This technology is obviously the mechanical reorganization technology of Hibotan civilization. The appearance of the warships of the heavens is different from the twin-tailed warships in the first physical war organized by Angel in the original book. Its appearance is more inclined to the appearance of Tianren number 7. The difference is that Tianren 7 has silver, blue, and gold as its main colors, while the battleships of the heavens only have two colors of gold and red. From a distance, the warships of the heavens look like golden giant swords standing in the sky. Although it has not been fully built, it already gives people an inviolable dignity and a sense of sternness. What is the concept of a height of nearly 10,000 meters and a width of nearly 6,000 meters? The largest warship that Luo Tang has seen so far is only about 5 kilometers long. And its width is only 1/10 of its length. That kind of battleship, which can already be regarded as a giant, is placed next to the battleship of the sky, and it is not much different from the fire stick in the hands of an adult. What is that? On the tarmac where the angels took many civilized visitors, countless people saw the appearance of the warships of the heavens. Magnificent, noble, domineering, dangerous, the breathtaking breath radiates wantonly towards the surroundings. Members of the alien civilization who were already frightened by Luo Tang's method of slaughtering the Kree, at the moment were all silent. Space battleships, to a large extent, indicate the strength of a civilization. After all, space battleships are equipped with the highest level of wisdom crystallization of the civilization, which is the most intuitive external expression of technological power. For such a large battleship, the energy source required for sailing is an extremely terrifying figure. At the very least, the steel titanium batteries of the sovereign civilization are completely unable to support a warship of this level. Secondly, when jumping times in the air, it is also a terrifying test for the strength of the battleship's materials. For a cross-shaped battleship, how confident is it in the strength of the battleship that it will completely ignore the increase in the ability to resist pressure through its appearance? The warships of the sky, are you going to go online? Angel Ling muttered to himself. Looking at the warships standing on the Proxima Centauri, it makes people look up at the mountains. A proud smile appeared on her pretty face. Sisters, speed up, the warships of the heavens are waiting for us. Ling said something to the many angels, and the many angels responded loudly. Beautiful Miss Angel, may I ask, that battleship of the sky? Sovereign's diplomat, Sky, had a frightened expression on his face. Just now, the energy alarm and the upper limit meter on his spaceship exploded. The strength revealed by the battleships of the heavens is far beyond that of the sovereigns. The vehicle of the King of the Heavens has the power to destroy interstellar civilization with one blow. Ling glanced at Sky, and with a bit of playfulness on the corner of his mouth, he said something lightly. They originally let these people come here to show their strength, and the appearance of the battleships from the sky, for her, couldn't be better. Interstellar civilization. Sky didn't know how to answer anymore. Interstellar civilizations are destroyed as soon as they are said. This battleship is a foul. Angel has no intention of starting any war. We yearn for peace and respect life. So, do you agree with us to build the Great Worm Bridge in the star field where Sovereign is? After Ling Bala Bala preached Angel's justice, he went directly to the core issue. Skia's forehead was covered with cold sweat, so he could only sue Aisha, the high priest of Sovereign again. The core area of Proxima Centauri Supercomputing Group. Very powerful weapon. Ulquiorra looked at the warships, his body tensed slightly. Although he doesn't understand battleship casting, he can't even understand its existence. But from instinct, it clearly told him that the warships in front of him could easily destroy him. Thank you. With a satisfied smile on Luo Tang's face, this is his battleship, a super battleship that deters the entire universe. Why do you want to build it? Your force concentration is strong enough. Better than Aizen? Ulquiorra nodded slightly. He will not lie, and there is no need to lie. Aizen Soyusuke gave him the feeling that he was looking up from a high mountain, as if he was standing at the foot of the mountain and looking up at the top of the mountain. And Luo Tang gave him the feeling, only plain people feel like he is an ordinary person. But in an understatement, it is too terrifying to close that virtual hole, and manipulate the power of any opponent at will. It was so terrifying that he could no longer fathom how strong Luo Tang was. Why build such a powerful weapon? Luo Tang sat upright on the throne, looking up at the dome of the control room, with rare thoughts in his eyes. You don't know your own heart? Ulquiorra stared closely at Luo Tang's eyes, as if trying to see what was going on in his mind. The little angels in the control room, at the moment, also turned their heads curiously. In fact, they are also very curious, why no matter whether it is the three angel kings or the king of the heavens, they are constantly pursuing strength. It is clear that they are quite the next day. It's clear, it's just that there are some things that are a bit hypocritical to say. Luo Tang chuckled, looked at Ulquiorra, and after gathering his composure, he continued to speak. I just want to protect the people I cherish so that no one can bully them, or in other words, when someone dares to bully them, I can stand up and beat that guy up. With some cynical words, a group of little angels laughed foolishly. King of the heavens, the one you cherish, isn't it? A little angel asked mischievously. They have a share. Then do we count? Definitely count. If someone bullies you, just tell me, and I will help you out. Luo Tang replied with a smile, and the atmosphere in the entire central control room became more and more joyful. Ulquiorra looked at the angel girls who were smiling, and an imperceptible fluctuation flashed in his eyes. Around him, no one has ever been able to smile so purely and happily. Although Luo Tang's words seemed out of tune, he could feel that they were words from the other party's heart. Such words reminded him of Kurosaki Kazu, go. It seems that guy also kept fighting to protect others, and kept getting stronger. Xiao Wu, in fact, you have been unable to understand, heart, in my opinion, it is because you lack one thing. Luo Tang smiled and turned the topic back to Ulquiorra. What? Ulquiorra was not sensitive to Xiao Wu's address, and always felt that when this address came out of Luo Tang's mouth, it was a bit malicious. Things that are worth your life, or even perish, must be protected. Luo Tang shrugged and said something to Ulquiorra. Turning around and looking at more than a dozen little angels, he continued. Help me entertain him. You can try to make friends with him. Although he has a cold personality, he is actually not bad. Yes, the king of the heavens. More than a dozen little angels bowed and took orders. Seeing Luo Tang leave the central control room, they immediately surrounded Ulquiorra chattering. Xiao Wu, can I call you that? The tear stains on your face are beautiful, is it unique makeup? What kind of prop is this half-bone helmet? I seem to see the weapon curry, and there are similar things. Xiao Wu, you are so skinny. You have such a good figure, are you a girl or a boy? Xiao Wu, why do you wear white clothes and black socks? Are you the new subordinate of the King of the Heavens? Are you particularly strong? Wow. I really want to be with the King of the Heavens. Women are awesome creatures. With just one woman, sometimes a man can be turned into one head and too big. And when a group of women are together, a man will go crazy. As time went by, Ulquiorra's expressionless face gradually began to become distorted. This feeling of being surrounded by tens of thousands of birds is too scary. Luo Tang didn't care about the actions of the little angels. Angel and Shu are two completely different species, and the genetic matching is so low that it is outrageous. Let them chat with Ulquiorra, but let them fall in love with Ulquiorra, unless they are willing to change their genes. The vast majority of angels, but only look at the database genes. Even a small number of little angels are full of beautiful fantasies about love and are very easy to deceive. But Ulquiorra is obviously not a person who can deceive people's feelings. Most of the people of various civilizations who were intercepted in space reboarded the spacecraft under the management of more than 100 angels, and left the Centaur galaxy. There are nearly people left, either malicious interstellar poachers, or simply some good civilized races. All these people were confiscated from the spaceship and imprisoned in the abandoned area of Proxima Centauri that had not been remodeled. Cosmic prisons, which exist in every powerful civilization. Just like Asgard's prison, where countless alien races are imprisoned. After solving the troubles caused by many alien civilizations, Angel Ling led a group of angels, as Luo Tang ordered, to play with Neza. But it is not so much that they are playing with Neza, it is better to say that they are playing with Neza. Neza, come here, try this. No, this is not pretty, you should try this. There should be a bun on the head, 2 balls on one left and one right are cute. Your old-fashioned hairstyle should be parted in the middle. Putting the middle part. You are too vicious, Neza is so cute. How could he do such a shameful thing? It's good, it looks more like a girl. A group of angels held all kinds of clothes and kept making gestures on Neza. Under the skillful hands of some angels, sets of exquisite clothes like dolls were produced. Neza was carried around by the crowd with a blank face, his big eyes were full of bewilderment. Although these beautiful sisters have been talking to him, why do you feel that the situation is not right? When Luo Tang saw Neza again, he almost couldn't help spraying these little angels to death with a mouthful of salt soda. What a thing. The dark circles under the eyes were covered with thick foundation, and red lipstick was painted on the mouth. There is a little cinnabar between the eyebrows, and a crystal Lolita skirt on her body? F*K. Why do you still look a little delicate? Is it because he hasn't looked for albedo recently? Get on fire. Get on fire. Luo Tang uncle, I don't feel right. Neza frowned, although he was very happy when someone played with him. But this play seems to be different from the play he understands. Phew. Your feeling is right. Luo Tang glared at Angel Ling and the others angrily. Seeing their expressions of holding back their laughter, shrinking their necks and bowing their heads, not daring to look directly at him, he sighed deeply. He only hoped that Neza didn't embark on any strange path because of this. Ding. The Great Sword World ground station has been successfully established, a two-way channel has been opened, and the world timeline is being synchronized. Just when Luo Teng was worried that Neza, the little magic pill, would go on the path of no return from the women's clothing boss, a system notification sound came over. Denisa had said back then that she was only one step away from establishing a ground station, and she was just one step away from defeating Iris of the North. Luo Teng was not at ease at the time, so he refined a set of armor and a big sword for her. The flow of time in the two worlds is almost the same. In terms of time, the crusade is indeed almost over. I'm going back to Earth, do you want to go together? Luo Tang glanced at Neza in women's clothing and Ulkio, who was at a loss. After I go back, can I still come out? Neza raised his head, with obvious worries on his small face. In Chentongguan, every time he went home, he would face a long period of imprisonment and supervision. Going home was not a good word for him. Definitely, you'll also have some new friends. Luo Tang smiled. If I remember correctly, Danessa seemed to have said that she met a little girl named Claire. The two met one day as if destined to meet, and now they have become inseparable. Claire is not very old, and she is full of plans, and she is only less than 10 years old now. Although Neza is actually less than 3 years old, but because of Mo Wan's background, his mind is close to 9 or 10 years old. Two people, one lacks a sense of security and the other lacks a sense of identity. If they get together, maybe they can rub a little different sparks. Then let's go back. When Neza heard Luo Tang's words, he couldn't help grinning, his face full of anticipation. Luo Tang smiled, activated the Heavens system, and with the assistance of the Heavens supercomputing group, a space ripple rippling with water appeared in front of him. After saying hello to the angels, he returned to travel agency Wang. In the travel agency. After opening the ground pickup station, Denisa came to the travel agency immediately, with a soft smile on her face, looking at Luo Tang, who walked out of the space gate. Beside her, Claire, who was still young, held Denisa's hand tightly, looking at the surrounding scene timidly. Long time no see, Denisa. Luo Tang said hello. Looking at the softer and more peaceful smile of Denisa, he could clearly feel the change in the other party. This change is not just because Denisa has changed her genes here. Angel's genes are very powerful, but this kind of strength does not completely symbolize beauty. Denisa naturally exudes a sense of kindness. It is like a statue of a god who is eulogized and praised in the church, merciful to everything in the world. President. The smile on the corner of Denisa's mouth widened a bit, her eyebrows and eyes seemed to be telling all the good things. It seems that with this smile, the spring is warm and the flowers are blooming, and everything is revived. Niza's big eyes could not help showing a bit of obsession, and the expression on his face seemed to see the most beautiful thing. Ulkiola took a step back subconsciously, with one hand already on the hilt of the sword. Sorry, I can't control these well now. Denisa spoke softly, and touched Claire's little head with one hand. Claire, who was a little uneasy, narrowed her big eyes slightly, with an expression of enjoyment and admiration on her small face. Your genes seem to have undergone some changes. Luo Tang frowned slightly. After analyzing the mind gem, he could clearly feel the faint influence on the soul. This kind of power is extremely subtle, and Neza, who is immature, was tricked almost as soon as he met. Even Ulquiorra, who was indifferent, only realized what was wrong with him after seeing Neza's expression. What happened to make Denisa change like this? Well, it has changed a lot, it seems to be because of my own soul. Denisa spoke with some uncertainty. Soul. The heavens began to analyze Denisa's body genes. Luo Tang muttered, and immediately issued an order to the heavens system. The analysis began. The angel gene in the body of the target person Denisha, due to the reaction of the magnetic field of life, the gene in the body mutated and evolved. The magnetic field energy of Tianchong's soul increased 80 times, the magnetic field energy of Lingui's soul increased 51 times, and the activity of cells increased 20 times. The strength is increased by 3 times. A series of analysis sounds came. Luo Tang's eyes flickered in vain. The change in Denisa was so great that he couldn't even fully analyze it after a while. President, I have another form in, do you want to see it? Denisa spoke up. What? Twin goddesses. Denisa let out a soft drink, and her face, which was originally wearing a bright smile, showed a bit of solemnity. A pair of pure white feathers bloomed behind her, and as the white feathers fluttered, her appearance had already changed. The hair gene has a very high similarity gene, and the side is different from the angel gene. The energy response is enhanced by 7 times, and the cell activity is enhanced by 8 times. There was a bit of consternation in Luo Tang's eyes. Denisa found another way of evolution of the angel gene. Luo Tang never underestimates anyone's creativity. In different environments, in different situations, even the same person will have completely different choices. Human creativity is far more powerful than any astrocomputer. The astrocomputer can only continuously evolve and reorganize according to fixed programs and sequences, and deduce things within the logical cycle. Human beings can create completely different new things that go beyond the logical cycle. The twin goddesses. Luo Tang squinted his eyes, and when he was analyzing Denise's body genes, the other party opened her database on his own initiative. The system in Denise's body is not powerful. Even now, it only has a 4-frequency computing speed. Compared with Luo Tang's 52 frequency, the difference is not a little bit. But a supercomputer with only 4 frequencies has brought the angel gene into another, completely different development route. Strong resilience, strong resistance, overall enhancement of speed and strength. Luo Tang rubbed his chin with one hand, and muttered to himself. He has language, and the changes that Denisa brought to him may be too big for him to imagine. The supercomputing group of the heavens. Start to analyze Denise's gene with all its strength, and differentiate its metamorphosis process. Evidence in re-evolution with the existing genetic basis. Luo Tang turned on the remote computing support, and after Denise's body data was completely transmitted, the extremely complicated rearrangement and evolution quickly began. Because of this sudden change, the scene immediately became silent. Luo Tang and Denisa are analyzing a completely different way of angel gene evolution. The other basks in the immensity of the database of the heavens. Ulquiola glanced at the two of them indifferently, and then looked at Claire, who was hiding half behind Denisa. As for Claire, at the moment blinked her big eyes and stared at Neza without blinking. Hi, my name is Neza. Neza put his hands in his trousers, with a shy and embarrassed expression on his face. After he finished speaking, he quickly turned his head away. This is the first time for him to see a real peer of the same age. Moreover, it is a peer who doesn't hate him. My name is Claire. After Claire finished speaking, she carefully glanced at Luo Tang and Denisa. Under the influence of Denisa, she is no stranger to Luo Tang, but Neza, that is really something I have never heard of. Want to play shuttlecock together? Neza sent an invitation. I am physically weak. Claire lowered her head, her small face was full of hesitation and uneasiness. It's okay. I'll be very light, very light, very light. Neza's eyes burst with hope, and he made promises to Claire. Luo Tang saw Denise's eyes and nodded slightly. Although Neza is sometimes a bit of a brat, what he has said doesn't count. For this hard-won peer partner, he believes that the other party will do his best to take good care of him. Denisa touched Claire's little head and gave an encouraging smile. Claire stepped forward timidly, and under Neza's guidance, she went to the second floor of the travel agency. The analysis results show that the magnetic fields of the target person Denisha, Tian Chong's soul, and Ling Wei's soul have undergone strong reversal changes, and the direction of gene development is in line with the evolution method of the life equation. Calculations and the results of the integration of existing genes have found a huge room for improvement. The evolution method of the 3 generations of gods has been updated, and the evolution of the 3 generations of gods has been perfected. The Saiyan gene has discovered an unknown evolution direction. It is speculated that it is the evolution direction of the Super Saiyan. Are you starting to deduce? Discovered the technology of releasing the soul outside the body. Tianchuang broke through the shackles of the body, and can realize short-distance non-body biological movement, combined with the method of Kamar Taj Soul Astral, evolved new technologies. A series of notification sounds came from the heavens system. Luo Tang's eyes sparkled. The perfect 3-generation god body is complete. Moreover, the most important thing is that apart from the 3 generations of gods, Denisa seems to have taken a completely different path in terms of soul. President, can you explain it to the people on the communication channel for me? With a gentle smile on her face, Denisa turned her head slightly, and said something softly. Communication channel. Luo Tang was slightly taken aback, with some puzzlement in his eyes, and took advantage of the gap in the system analysis to open the employee communication channel. Congratulations to employee Denisa, successfully established the ground pickup station. Tasaka Rin. Sister Denisa has also opened the ground pickup station, so the bad guys have been defeated? Came Madoka. Congratulations, Sister Denisa, you will be able to receive tourists in the future. Liang Bing. Do you think that being able to receive tourists is the key point? Tu Shan Yaya. Sister Lingbing, isn't it important to receive tourists? Liang Bing. TCH, little girl, if you were asked to choose between meeting Luo Tang or receiving tourists, and you can't regret it after the choice, which one would you choose? Yaya Tu Shan. Definitely I'm seeing my big brother. The little fairy doctor. I understand. Dumbledore. A good man is always loved by more people. Fubuki from hell. I'm happy too. Why did I get preempted? Damn it. Luo Tang looked at the people discussing in the communication channel, with a bit of helplessness on his face. Denisha, I think it's better to pretend not to see the current situation. Isn't the president afraid of being misunderstood? I'm even more afraid of being criticized by them. Luo Tang shrugged. He doesn't worry if he has too many debts, and doesn't itch if he has too many lice. Anyway, being laughed at by everyone like this, not once or twice, can you still laugh off a piece of meat? I am afraid that the more people who care about these things, the more they will plot against him. For example, cold ice. Denisa smiled, and didn't care about the content of the communication channel anymore. Her feelings for Luo Tang are complicated, and she faces a man who changes her own destiny, and even the destiny of the world she lives in. She has both gratitude and admiration, but the love between men and women is pitifully small. As a great sword once implanted with the flesh and blood of demons, she knows exactly what she really looks like. Such a self is not qualified to talk about things like love. 3 generations of gods are complete. Luo Tang's eyes sparkled, and Denisa developed the angel gene on another path. For him, this path was a direction he had never thought of before. The power of the heaven system lies in the fact that you give it a calculation equation, and it can loop and evolve infinitely. Denisa's path has been calculated to the extreme by the heaven system every minute. Combining all the techniques he had before, the perfect 3-generation god body is naturally a matter of course. As for Super Saiyan, this has been a surprise. Denisha, the travel agency is temporarily handed over to you. The 3 generations of gods have been completed. I will upgrade to a level first. Don't let people disturb me. Luo Tang spoke to Denisa. Denisa frowned slightly. She was in charge of the travel agency? Glancing at Ulquiorra, who was standing quietly behind Luo Tang, she looked embarrassed. This must be a new visitor. Is it really appropriate to let her, who is not good at communication, entertain new tourists and entrust her with a travel agency? After Luo Tang finished speaking, he nodded to Denisa and Ulquiorra, and impatiently went up to the 3rd floor. The 3 generations of gods have been completed. If you don't upgrade at this time, when will you upgrade? Go back to the bedroom and close the door. Luo Tang used the rules of the travel agency to set the bedroom in a state that no one can enter. With bright white lights in his eyes, he lay down on the soft couch. The Heavens System, remote connection to the Heavens Supercomputing Group to provide computing support, enable remote support for dark energy, enable high-level gene rewriting, enable. Luo Tang issued a series of orders. The supercomputing group of the heavens far away in Proxima Centauri began to operate crazily. The relevant data of the 3 generations of gods were entered into the database, and the genetic upgrade plan was quickly released. Luo Tang held the time gem in one hand and the mind gem in the other. Powerful energy, madness began to pour into his body. The engine of the heavens is started, the supercomputing group computing support connection is completed, the high-level gene rewriting is activated, the upgrade energy of the 3 generations of gods is sufficient, and the upgrade begins. A series of notification sounds from the engines of the heavens came. Luo Tang's eyes were closed tightly, and the veins on his cheeks were floating. It was obvious that the upgrade process was not very comfortable. In the travel agency, Denisa and Ulquiorra sat across from each other on the sofa. The laughter of Neza and Claire could be heard from time to time on the 2nd floor, but there was an eerie silence between them. You don't know how to communicate with people. Ulquiorra looked indifferently at Denisa, who was sitting on the other side. I don't know if it's an illusion, but he faintly felt that Denisa seemed to be the same kind of person as him in the past. You too. There was a slight smile on the corner of Denisa's mouth. Different from the gentleness when she faced Luo Tang just now, at the moment she seemed gentle, but her aura was several times fiercer. After the original Great Sword organization was destroyed, the new organization took control, and she had an aura that belonged exclusively to her. The 1st generation of Great Sword Angel, twin goddesses. A strange dark energy fluctuation came from outside the Earth's atmosphere. Denisa suddenly got up from the sofa. Standing in front of the window of the travel agency, she looked at the originally clear sky, which was quickly shrouded in darkness, and her eyes could not help but bring a bit of solemnity. The vast abyss-like dark wave has covered nearly 1/3 of the Earth in a short period of time. The magic circles of the 3 holy places in London, New York, and Hong Kong are starting quickly. The golden mystic magic circle is constantly competing with the dark energy in the air. Although it seems to be evenly matched, Denisa knows very well that if the vast darkness continues to invade, the secret magic circle will not last long. Gemini goddess Denisa, the dark communication channel of the heavens requests a call connection with you. A cold electronic synthesis sound rang in Denisa's ear. Denisa's eyes lit up, and she has been on the employee communication channel for a long time, so she naturally knows who the word, the heavens, represents. Gemini goddess Denisa, I am the high-level angel Ling, and now I am in charge of the calculations of the supercomputing group of the heavens. Just now, the supercomputing group of the heavens detected the invasion of the dark dimension. The angels on Proxima Centauri are well aware of the state of Luo Tang at the moment. Luo Tang's genes are far more complex than ordinary angel genes, and some of them are still in a state of not fully analyzing their subsequent evolutionary direction. It is not so difficult to achieve the ultimate perfect three-generation divine body while preserving the advantages of each gene. Moreover, Luo Tang's so-called three-generation divine body is much stronger than the three-generation divine body in the super seminary, and it is completely a qualitative change. The amount of dark energy required is also outrageous. According to the prediction of the supercomputing group, it will take at least 2 hours for him to complete the upgrade. This is also thanks to the abundant dark energy provided by Time Gem, Mind Gem and Reality Gem in his hands. Otherwise, the upgrade may not be completed in a few days. In the travel agency, Denisa couldn't help but took a deep breath after receiving the communication from Proxima Centauri supercomputing group. She really didn't expect that Luo Tang's enemies would be so strong. Iris of the North, who was defeated by her before, cannot be compared with Dormammu at all. Moreover, according to previous news, Hela, the goddess of death, will also launch an attack on Asgard at the same time. This situation is beyond her ability to deal with it. Boom boom boom, there was an urgent knock on the door of the travel agency. Without waiting for Denisa's response, Ancient One Magician led Modu directly through the door. Looking at Denisa and Ulquiorra standing in the hall, she frowned and asked, "Where's Lo? Has he gone to Asgard yet?" "No, the president is upgrading the 3 generations of gods, and it will take about 2 hours." 3 generations of gods, that is. What you mean, Luo can't make a move now? Ancient One Magician originally wanted to ask about the 3 generations of gods, but thinking of the current time, he immediately changed the subject. Denisa nodded slightly. Through the communication in the dark communication channel just now, she has clearly realized how serious the matter would be without Luo Tang. At this time, the Ancient One Master took a deep breath, with a solemn look on his face, waved his robe, and turned to look at Modu. "Modu, inform the 3 holy places. Take the initiative to attack Dormammu." "Yes, Magician." Modu nodded, and after leaving the travel agency, he drew a circle of secret light with one hand, and quickly went to the holy place. Although they have repelled the attack of the dark dimension countless times before. But every time, almost a heavy price will be paid. Today's Kamar Taj, even though he is much stronger than before, still cannot hit Dormammu without injury. What's more worrying is Asgard. If Asgard falls, it will be a disaster for the entire 9 realms. I can fight if need be. Ulquiorra put one hand on the hilt of the sword. Although he didn't like meaningless fights, his subconscious mind told him that he hoped that this place would not be threatened. "I can too." Neza, who was playing, came down from the 2nd floor, looked at Ulquiorra, then at Denisa, clenched his small fists. Denisa nodded to the 2, then turned to look at Ancient One Magician. "According to your plan with the president, he will take the lead in defeating Hela, the goddess of death, and you will stick to it until he comes back, right?" "Yes, but now. It's up to us to defeat Hela, the goddess of death. Her army of death is very powerful, even if you are very strong, but facing the overwhelming army. There's an army too." Denisa stood up straight, and as the first angel with a big sword, she powerfully wiped out the existence of demons. Even against the so-called goddess of death, she has absolute confidence. Most importantly, she is not alone. As Denisa walked towards the gate of the world, she sank her mind into the employee communication channel. The president's world is currently being invaded by the dark dimension and the goddess of death in the underworld. The president can't get out because of the upgrade divine body. Come together? Denisa's words silenced the employee communication channel that had been chatting for a few seconds. Artoria. More than 100 angels have already started to gather, and they will arrive in 5 minutes. Albedo. Dare to invade the territory of the Supreme Venerable, it is unforgivable. Gather in the underground lobby of Nasek. Tu Shan Yaya. 100 angels have assembled, Tu Shan Yaozu, and all members will enter the travel agency in 5 minutes. Kamu Madoka. 5 magical girls, 100 angels, enter the travel agency in 3 minutes. Liang Bing. F*K. The door to the world is closed, we can't go there. Tu Shan Yaya. Sister Lingbing, with us here, don't be afraid. Liang Bing. Afraid of a hammer. My old lady wants to kill someone now. Don't give me a chance. Little immortal doctor. I wish you all good luck in martial arts, victory. Dumbledore. I wish you all good luck in martial arts, victory. Yuer to be. I wish you all good luck in martial arts. The flag is set to win. A series of messages flashed across the employee communication channel, and those who could not come sent their blessings. Denisa stepped into the ground station of the Great Sword World. Looking at the many sword fighters waiting in the hall, she raised her chin slightly and said, "A new enemy has appeared." Choke. All the female warriors with great swords got up from their seats together, and without saying a word, issued the heavenly sword behind their backs. In the lobby of Wanji Travel Agency, Ancient One Magician had a worried expression on his face. The gate of the moon world in the back hall was lit. Rin Tosaka and Artoria walked out first, and more than 100 angels followed closely behind them. Madoka came. Homura Akami and other magical girls arrived almost at the same time, followed by nearly 100 angels. Angel Ronning came out of the world of fox demons. Angels in the trips, at the moment, are all here. Connect to the supercomputing group of the heavens. Open the gate of the wormhole, and we will go directly to the battlefield of Asgard. Angel Runing's eyes lit up white. Under the super-speed calculations of the heavenly supercomputing group, a space wormhole more than 10 meters wide appeared outside the gate of the travel agency. Only 300. The concern in Ancient One Magician's eyes did not diminish. According to the previous news, Hela, the goddess of death, is in the underworld and has gathered several troops. Even Asgard's active fighters, there aren't that many. 300 angel soldiers, although powerful enough to fight 10 against 1, are still not enough to face tens of thousands of troops. Shesh. Under the leadership of Ronning, the angels spread their wings and quickly flew out of the travel agency and into the space wormhole. Is 300 not enough? What about adding us? Denisa returns from the Great Sword World. Behind her, female warriors with great swords walked out of the space gate one by one. The aura on them is not inferior to the previous angel, and even a few of them can faintly be compared with the high-level angel Ronning. Denisa glanced at the space gate in front of the travel agency gate. With a wave of one hand, nearly 50 female warriors with great swords appeared with their wings behind and flew into the space gate. A real army needs time to assemble. Denisa said something to the Ancient One Magician, stepped on it, and rose into the air. The wings of Jia Bai appeared behind, and also flew into the space gate. The world gate in the back hall buzzed again, and Flying Squirrel, holding a guild weapon and covered in robes, walked out of the space gate. For the first time to fight in another world, let the name of Ain Zul Gaon resound throughout this world. The soul fire in Momonga's eyes trembled, and behind him, the Asgardians of the floor and the Asgardians of the domain all dispatched. Countless undecedent armies also swarmed out. The Ancient One Magician swallowed. Although she has borrowed the power of the dark dimension, she has never dealt with it. Moreover, the power of these people, death, darkness, filth. Is this also Luo Tang's army? Mr. Momonga, Magical Girl, Angel, Tasaka Rin, they have all gone to the battlefield from the space wormhole. Albedo has been paying attention to the news of the employee communication channel. Seeing that there are more and more decedents among the travel agencies, he turned sideways and said something to Momonga. The great underground tomb of Nazarick, don't be left behind, let's go. With the order of the flying mouse, the figure flew up under the magic, and also entered the space wormhole. And the space gate of the Overlord world is still flickering. Thousands of decedents, under the command of Albedo, rushed to the battlefield from the space gate. Ancient One Magician, at the moment I don't know what language to use to describe the shock in my heart. This army of darkness looks even more terrifying than the army of Hela, the goddess of death. Yaya, where is the battlefield? A cold voice came from the back hall. In the world of fox demons, 3 sisters, Tu Shan Hong Hong, Tu Shan Yaya, and Tu Shan Rongrong, walked out of the gate of the world first. Behind them, the demon emperor of Baishan, the demon clan of Mangshan, the demon emperor of South Sea, and the demon lord of West Sea followed closely. Tushan fox demons were all dispatched, and 70% of the members of the demon alliance also came. Tens of thousands of monster clans headed to Asgard under the leadership of Tu Shanhonghong. The Ancient One Magician tightly held the small fan in his hand. Looking at all kinds of monsters and undecedents who are still coming out continuously, I can't help feeling a little sympathetic to Hela, the goddess of death. The other party will never know what kind of terrifying person he is fighting against. It seems that there is not much need for me over there. Ulkiola watched the huge army go to the battlefield, although the expression on the face did not fluctuate, but the heart was shocked. With such a terrifying number of troops, the Spirit King Palace is more than sufficient. Who will be the opponent of this army? Stay here, maybe we will need you very much. The Ancient One magician looked at Ulquiorra. Although the opponent's aura seemed empty and dark, but not decedent helped them fight. The opponent is a humanoid creature anyway, so what's wrong with them fighting? Can I follow you? I'm also very powerful, I can spell. Neza twisted his eyebrows. This feeling of no existence made him very unhappy. He also sees the Great War. Fight off the invaders. Definitely, we welcome anyone who wants to protect the world. Ancient One magician patted Neza on the head and walked out of the travel agency. With such a team, who can threaten the earth? Claire looked at the monsters and non-decedents who were constantly shuttling downstairs, and lay timidly on the stairs on the second floor. Where did Denisa go? Why is she here alone? What should she do begging? Before Asgard Bifrost, Thor and Avengers, who had just returned from the garbage planet, looked at the army in front of them dumbfounded. Thor, are you sure this is helping our team, not our enemy, right? Tony Stark swallowed, as restless as he could be. Damn. What kind of teams are these? If we say that the tens of thousands of female angel soldiers I have seen before seem to represent love and justice, beauty is accompanied by deadly murderous intent. The team in front of me represents complete chaos. Those tens of thousands of undead creatures, at a glance, can't see the edge at all, filled with death, murderous intent. The number of is no less than that of undead creatures, full of tyranny and wildness. The roar of beasts and dragon chants at that time can make people's feet weak in fright. Even if their current strength has become much stronger, but if they face such an army, after 10 minutes, they can set up the tomb. Against such an enemy, the whole body will not be left behind, okay? Tony, look, that's Angel, that's Albedo, that's Yaya, we've all seen it, our own. Thor swallowed, looking for the familiar figure in the army. Only when he saw these figures, could he feel a little more confident in his heart. When you say something like this, if you don't shake your legs, it will be more convincing. Bruce Banner spoke up. Looking at the mighty army in the distance, I felt my heart skip a few beats. The Queen of Heaven, Frigga, stood at the height of the palace, also looking restless. Beside her, Loki clenched his fists, obviously eager to rush forward and desperately. Loki always remembers what Luo Tang said to him in prison. In his opinion, half the sentence reduction is dispensable, but he must prove that he is a qualified opponent in this battle. Mother. I'm off. Loki spoke to Frigga in a deep voice. Okay. Frigga nodded lightly, leaning on the guardrail of the palace with both hands, she couldn't help but let out a soft sigh. Just an hour ago, Odin fell into a deep sleep again. Aging is irreversible, and it may not be long before the King of God, who once deterred the universe, will leave forever. In front of the gate of Asgard, the staff of the travel agency gathered together. When the war starts, please take care of me. Tu Shanhonghong looked at Flying Squirrel. Although her tone was still cold, she was much more polite than usual. When fighting, the miscellaneous soldiers of the undead will be used as cannon fodder, and they will try their best to block some troubles for you. Flying Mouse's eyes flickered with fire, and treated Tu Shanhonghong with an equal attitude. Both sides are leaders with great power, and on the eve of the battle, a certain degree of trust must be maintained. The King of the Heavens has opened the arsenal authority for all angels. Gemini Goddess, you should also have authority. Angel Ronning looked at Denisa on the side. Although there are not many people brought by the twin goddess Denisa, they are all excellent. If they can use the weapons in the arsenal, with the assistance of the supercomputing group from the heavens, they may be able to directly launch a star-killing strike. I have high-level permissions. If I have arsenal, I need to open low-level permissions to them. Denisa nodded, and looked at the female warrior with a big sword who was gearing up behind her. Definitely can. Ronning nodded, high-level authority, fully has the right to open low-level authority. Xiaoyuan, Yaya, how many points have you got? The battle formation gathered, and Rin Tasaka, who participated in a battle of this scale for the first time, asked Madoka and Yaya on the side with a forced expression. There was a bit of uneasiness on Lumuan's small face. Just now she was busy rushing here, but she didn't have a chance to see the coworker system at all. Wow. I have 160,000. Yaya's little face was also full of bewildered expressions. After splitting it equally with Artoria, I only have 70,000. Tasaka Rin had a slightly troubled look on his face. I didn't see it at all. The expressions of Denisa, Honghong, Rongrong, Momanga and others have been distorted. Either they don't have points, or they aren't even employees at all. Isn't Rin Tasaka's words pulling hatred? I want to upgrade my demon power. I want to have more demon power than my sister. Yaya had a serious expression on her face. After being reminded, he quickly decided on the direction of strengthening. Only have magic and magic. Madoka Kamu tilted her head, and decided to consume points at the moment of the battle. What should I improve? Rin Tasaka frowned. She knows a lot of magic, and there are many magic engravings on her body. The more you know, the less you know what to improve. Coming. The gatekeeper Heimdall snorted, and immediately picked up the long sword. Rumbling, a roar like muffled thunder came from the end of Bifrost. A huge spaceship fleet slowly emerges from the abyss of the universe. Asgard. Asgard. Welcome back your queen. A wild and wanton laughter came from the end of Bifrost. Death goddess Hela. Here she comes. Army of the undead, dedicate your life to the name of Ainzul Gaon. Momonga's low tone resounded on the battlefield. Roar. Tens of thousands of undecedent roars resounded through Asgard, and with a fearless momentum, they crazily charged towards the goddess of death, Hela. Standing on the top of the spaceship, looking at Hela, the goddess of death in Asgard, he was stunned when he saw the tens of thousands of troops. Hearing this deafening roar, the whole person will be in a bad mood. Damn. Who can tell her where this undead army came from? Monster League, attack. Tu Shanhonghong's cold voice spread throughout the battlefield under the diffusion of demon power. Roar. The roar of tigers and bears resounded endlessly, and the 1,000-year-old monsters took the lead. 300 angels, 50 angel swordfighters, at the moment the formation flew up, holding the same weapons in their hands. Apply for the judgment of the heavens. 350 female warriors with good faces and graceful figures, the long swords in their hands emitted a dazzling golden red light. Terrifying dark energy gathers in the sky above Asgard, and anyone can clearly feel the palpitating power. Thousands of miles frozen. Tu Shan Yaya's clear and crisp drinking sound resounded. Put your hands on the surface of the water under Bifrost, and the river water that stretches for hundreds of miles and leads directly to the galaxy begins to freeze quickly. Terrifying cold air, escaping from the surface. Everyone in the Monster League looked at Tu Shan Yaya with trembling faces. This level of monster power has surpassed that of Tu Shan Honghong, probably not for 3,000 years, or even 5,000 years. Devil-breaking arrow. Kamu Madoka held up the longbow in his hand, and under the astonished eyes of the surrounding magical girls, the terrifying magic power fluctuations began to spread. One arrow shot out, split into thousands of arrows, tens of thousands of arrows with magical energy, directly caused the death goddess Hela's subordinates who had just rushed out of the spaceship to suffer heavy casualties. Give me Hela, goddess of death. Artoria moved her feet and straddled the Lion King. The Lion King in the spirit state has now recovered his 1,000-year cultivation base, and his speed is so fast that there are few opponents. Holding the vowed victory sword with 13 restraints, her eyes are fixed on the angry goddess of death Hela. Stage Asgardians, domain Asgardians, show your strength. Momonga gave a low snort. The scene of thousands of troops charging made his soul tremble. Although the experience of being an ordinary person in his previous life made him a little afraid, but more, it was a kind of excitement and passion that he had never experienced before. Kill. Ha ha ha, the Asgardians, who have been waiting for a long time, also charged forward. Thousands of troops collided on the frozen ice of Bifrost and Tu Shan Yaya. The big monster is raging, not decedent screaming, just a confrontation, and it has occupied the top. Destroy the star. Heavenly Blade Trial. Denisa and Angel Ronning drink together. 350 angels and sword warriors cut down their swords at the same time. Boom. Countless legions of the underworld in the second half of the battlefield were instantly killed. Damn it. It shouldn't be like this, it shouldn't be like this. The goddess of death, Hela, looked at the scene where she seemed to be defeated as soon as the battle was fought. Her eyes were full of hysterical madness. She's been planning to return to Asgard for far too long. For this day, she endured for thousands of years in the dark underworld, and she didn't want such a result. Sister, do you think your enemy is your father? Thor swung his hammer, flew across the sky, and landed in front of Hela, the goddess of death. Not Odin, who else? The goddess of death, Hela, looked at the triumphant Thor, with a ferocious and cruel face, and waved one hand, holding the sword of death in her hand. Your enemy is the mentor, the master of the 9 realms, Luo. Definitely, you can also call him, Tianyuji. Thor pointed his hammer at Hela, and lightning flashed in his eyes. Under Luo Teng's constant experience, he has already mastered the power of his own thunder and lightning, instead of relying solely on Mjolnir. As soon as Thor pretended to be aggressive, he was slapped by the lion's claw and flew out. Sorry, it accidentally injured you, but I have already reserved this enemy. The night's battle is not allowed to be disturbed. Arturia straddles the Lion King, pointing her long sword at Hela, the goddess of death. Dressed in a bright blue battle armor and with flying blonde hair, Artoria's aura began to rise continuously. 13 constraints, one after another to be untied. With a body full of surging power, Hela, the goddess of death, couldn't help but feel solemn and palpitating in her eyes. Thor shook his drowsy head, looking at the domineering Night King with a bitter expression on his face. This is Asgard's war. Why does it seem like he's superfluous here? Remember my name is Artoria Pendragon. Artoria patted the Lion King who was sitting down, and the Lion King gave a low bark, and quickly launched a charge. When, with the sound of gold and iron clanging, the figure of Hela, the goddess of death, flew out. Facing Altria, who had just been promoted with 70,000 points, she was suppressed as soon as they confronted each other. The power of the dark dimension, after breaking through the blockade of the secret magic circle, can appear almost anywhere in London. With the holy place in London as the core, black and red are intertwined, and the dark energy full of evil aura crazily spreads towards the back of the radiation. Over there. Ulquiola looked at the core of the darkness spreading, and the spiritual pressure on his body suddenly exploded. Although the affairs of the other world don't seem to have much to do with him, but his travel purpose has not been achieved, how can he let this place be destroyed? And, he hates indiscriminate killing. Block it, Black-winged demon. Ulquiorra looked at the people fleeing in panic and screaming in the street, and pulled out the Zanpakuto from his waist. The spiritual pressure mixed with green light in the pitch black began to spread wildly. A spiritual pressure that was several times stronger than before swept across the surroundings, directly colliding with the invasion force of the dark dimension. Silent energy fluctuations spread in the air. Ulquiorra in a long white robe, horned helmet on his head, and black wings spread out behind his back. Bear the invading force of the dark dimension hard. Although Ulquiola was still expressionless, his pupils were trembling, obviously unable to resist the invasion of that force. Second stage returned to the blade. With a low shout, the spiritual pressure on Ulquiola's body began to skyrocket again. The heavy, turbid and powerful spiritual pressure is more than several times stronger than before. The white robe on his body has disappeared, and his feet have turned into bird claws under the dark trousers. The devil-like tail on the back makes it look even more evil. Bearing such dark power, we should be of the same kind. Why do you want to stop me? A thick voice came from the energy of the dark dimension. The huge face condensed by pure dark energy slowly appeared over New York. Ah, here, no one is the same as me. Ulquiola's eyes were drooping, and the expression on his face was not moved at all. His left hand resisted the attack of Dormammu's dark energy, and his right hand quickly condensed a green thunder spear. Boom. The thunder spear was thrown by him, and with a terrifying penetration, it instantly pierced through Dormammu's face condensed with dark energy. You pissed me off. If you refuse to join the darkness, go to hell. Dormammu's angry voice came from the dark dimension. The dark energy, which was already ferocious, instantly became violent several times, sweeping towards it with the aura of destroying everything. Ulquiola raised his hands high, and plowed a ravine dozens of meters long under his feet. The hands holding the energy of the dark dimension forcibly have a tendency to gasify. Can't. Neza had an anxious look in his eyes. For the first Ulquiorra who played with him, he regarded him as his first friend and the most important friend. The sun and the moon are born at the same time, thousands of souls are reborn, heaven and earth have no stars, and the universe is in a circle, hurry like Allah, accept it. Neza yelled the mantra of Chankin Circle loudly. The golden light of the Chankin Circle around the neck soared, breaking the seal that trapped Neza's power. Don't lose consciousness. Neza looked at Ulquiorra who was struggling to support in the distance, held on to his last consciousness, and trapped the Chankin trap in his hands. The original height of less than 1 meter has skyrocketed to 1.7 meters. The fiery red hair is flying, and the flame pattern appears in the corner of the eye. Neza held a pointed gun, and instantly rushed to Ulquiola's side. With one shot, the power belonging to the magic pill exploded out. The power of the dark dimension that was raging originally, due to the joint efforts of Neza and Ulquiorra, has slowed down its spread several times. The power that controls the entire dark world, in terms of pure energy intensity, no one can compare with Dormammu. Hey, the kid actually grows bigger? Are you a Saiyan? A somewhat frivolous and indifferent voice came from the alley. Wearing a denim jacket and a denim skirt, number 18 lazily walked out of the alley with his hands on his waist. I don't know what a Saiyan is. Neza gritted his teeth tightly, resisting the attack of the dark dimension. Forget it. It doesn't matter. No 18 feet's right hand brushed against the airwaves and flew down, with slightly messy short blonde hair. When she looked up at the power of the dark dimension, there was a look of interest in her eyes. Do you need help? Then come and help. Neza spoke angrily, dissatisfied with No 18 feet's leisurely attitude. Last time, he was slapped on the forehead, but it hasn't been settled yet. Really, the attitude of asking for help is so bad. Although number 18's words were not very polite, his movements were not slow at all. Raising one hand, a cold glow suddenly burst out in her eyes. Qigong wave. Boom. The ferocious energy beam blasted towards the dark energy. Visible to the naked eye, the power of the dark dimension has been greatly suppressed. Damn it. How come there are so many powerful people on Earth? You monsters. Where did you come from? Dormammu's distraught voice came from within the dark dimension. The development in front of him completely exceeded his imagination. When will the people on Earth be able to fight against him without relying on occult magic? And these people have never seen or seen before, okay. Monster? A real monster, you haven't seen it yet, have you? Number 18 had short blonde hair flying, and a slight sarcasm on her pretty face. Where's the president? Didn't he say that this place is his territory? Number 18 squinted his eyes, and the Qigong wave in his hand skyrocketed again. On the other side, she had no choice but to resist his attack passively. President, it seems to be improving strength. White smoke was steaming from Ulquiorra's body, obviously the energy consumption was not small. Even if he has entered the state of the second stage of returning to the blade. But if they continue to consume, Dormammu, who has endless energy, will defeat them sooner or later. Ah, what a hassle. A trace of displeasure flashed in No 18 feet's eyes. Looking at Neza, who was standing in front of him with a pointed gun in his hands, roaring again and again, a strange color flashed in his eyes. This is not your home. Why are you so fat? Here, it's my friend's house. Neza's flame-like long hair danced, and the complex spirit patterns shining red on his body became brighter and brighter. On the fire-pointed spear, the power of the fairy suddenly soared. For a time, the power of Dormammu's dark dimension couldn't go any further. Number 18 and Ulquiorra couldn't help being slightly taken aback when they heard Neza's answer. Friend? I see your heart. Ulquiorra's knees were slightly bent, and the expression on his face fluctuated for the first time. For the first time, he had a feeling of wanting to protect something. Not to protect this world, nor to protect those human beings who are completely different from him. But to protect Neza, who regards him as a friend. TCH, I should just thank that rich president. I've been doing pretty well these 2 days. Number 18 said something insincerely. The original free and easy posture changed, and he raised his hands, and the Qigong wave in his hands suddenly doubled. Boom. The power of the dark dimension was forced to retreat steadily by the three of them. Damn guys, blocking the dark footsteps, there is only one dead end. Dormammu's roar resounds throughout the earth. The power of the dark dimension is surging, and most of the earth is facing a tsunami-like attack of dark energy almost at the same time. Kacha. Kacha, the Hong Kong holy place, which was already somewhat run down, made a sound like a broken mirror. Countless human beings on the earth looked at the sky with panic and fear in their eyes. The magicians of Kamar Taj seem powerless to save the world. Then who can come and save them? Heaven, start the battle mode, connect to the supercomputing group of the heavens, support remote computing with maximum power, set up a protective wall of secret energy, and re-emphasize the holy place secret magic circle. A voice with a bit of anger cut through the earth full of fear. Dark energy fluctuated and quickly swept across the entire earth, and everyone felt as if a strong wind was whizzing by. The combat mode is started, the remote computing support is turned on, the secret energy protection wall is turned on, and the 3 holy place secret magic circles are defined. The definition is successful, and the reorganization begins. Buzz buzz. The golden mystical magic circles with a diameter of 100 meters began to spread rapidly around Luo Teng's location. The interconnected secret magic circle, like a giant golden net, enveloped the entire earth. With the golden light flashing, all the secret magic circles are connected by horns. Under the same energy, the power of the dark dimension is quickly isolated from the earth. In the holy place in London, the ancient one magician, who had half repaired the secret magic circle, looked at the miraculously restored secret magic circle, with a smile on his face, and heaved a sigh of relief. Luo Teng, finally out. The sound of a sharp knife unsheathing resounds throughout the earth. Luo Teng used the system of the heavens to build a secret magic circle, which was completely integrated with the original 3 holy place secret magic circles. The 3 big magic circles are connected with millions of small magic circles. Let Dormammu roar again and again, but it can no longer shake the earth a little bit. Nay Zha and number 18 breathed a sigh of relief, while Ulquiorra silently released the second stage of returning to the blade. The ugly one, the real monster, is out. Number 18 tilted his head, with a mocking smile on his face. No. No one can stop me, not you. Neither can Ancient One. The big face condensed by the dark energy roared ferociously. It's just that no matter how angry and howling Dormammu is, he still can't attack again under the multiple secret magic circles. Chi-Chi. The golden light door of secret technique appeared in front of Zha, number 18 and Ulquiorra. Luo Tang pulled Claire with a timid face, and walked out of the secret light gate. Well done. TCH, I didn't do it for your praise. Number 18 turned his cheeks aside awkwardly. Ulquiorra stood aside silently, without showing any expression to the compliment. Hey. Neza scratched his head and smirked. It was the first time for him to be praised so much, he just felt that it was really great to be able to help others. Neza's handsome face, combined with at the moment silly movements, no matter how you look at it, it has a taste of self-destructing the Great Wall. It's just that Luo Tang at the moment obviously didn't have time to pay attention to him. His eyes swept over the damaged streets of London and the wounded people almost everywhere, and his eyes were even more angry. The earth is his territory, a territory that no one can invade. Since Dormammu dares to come, he must be prepared to pay the price. Take care of her. Luo Tang handed Claire to number 18 beside her. Looking up at the ugly face condensed by the dark energy in the sky, his figure moved and rushed directly to the dark space. In the dark space, there is only deep darkness and dark energy and dark matter that can be seen everywhere. Dark red magma was spraying, and the star core, which was burned like firewood, exuded the twilight atmosphere of dusk. A dark, decaying, and even disgusting atmosphere filled every inch of space. Hoo-hoo. As the wind howled in the dark space, two huge eyes shining with purple light appeared behind Luo Tang. The magic flames are blazing, and has a big face with a strange luster, revealing only madness and ferocity. Dormammu, Earth is my domain. Luo Tang's eyes flickered with coldness, and as he opened his mouth, he began to order secretly to the heavens system in his heart. Heaven. Analyze Dormammu's body composition, analyze the rule composition. The engines of the heavens in the dark plane are running crazily, and the abundant dark energy in the dark space has become the most beneficial assistant of the engines of the heavens. The space interface between the dark space and the earth that has not been closed has become a channel for the remote support of the supercomputing group of the heavens. Up to 40 seconds, Dormammu will have no more secrets for Luo Tang. The dark space is my territory. After I kill you, your world will also become my territory. Shesh. Dormammu's voice fell, and the dark energy turned into billions of sharp blades, attacking Luo Tang frantically. With one wave of Luo Tang's hand, the energy shield formed by secret magic directly covered his whole body. Dang 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 dang. The sound of gold and iron clashing continuously came, and the secret shield of the secret art also vibrated endlessly. Luo Tang picked out his itchy ears that were shaken by the chirping. He did not expect that Dormammu would act so decisively. Gods. How long will it take? Countdown 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The disassembly is complete. The battle engine of the heavens, the high-level reality rewriting is turned on, the high-level concept rewriting is turned on, the high-level anti-void is turned on, and the high-level can display definition is turned on. The engines of the heavens are running crazily. Under Luo Tang's feet, the platform of the battle system of the heavens slowly emerged. Behind the hexagonal engine of the heavens, emitting a dazzling golden red light. Open. The final verdict. Luo Tang narrowed his eyes slightly and spoke indifferently. The final ruling is turned on. Activate the anti-void, create void barriers, void or not, remove the connection between Dormammu's consciousness and the dark space. Dormammu, who was originally full of arrogance, suddenly appeared around 6 void barriers with blue lights shining on all sides. The connection to the dark space was disconnected, and his consciousness was directly trapped in the void barrier. The dark energy arrows that were constantly attacking Luo Tang stopped. Luo Tang patted his sleeves and looked at the flustered Dormammu blankly. What the hell is this? Dormammu roared, slapping the void barrier. It's just the void barrier, just a layer of ripples, and Dormammu's attack is completely ineffective. Anti-occult energy. Anti-dark energy. Anti-void. Create an absolute vacuum. Rule rewriting begins. Energy flow is completely blocked. Launch the final ruling. Driven by the engine of the heavens, the white sword chiming in the arsenal of the heavens flew out in an instant, and the blade expanded nearly 1,000 times, appearing above Dormammu's head. When Dormammu raised his hands high, trying to resist the white sword chiming, but he kept pressing down while the golden red sword flashed. The target is using biological energy to resist, anti-biological energy. The target is using the concept of rule ability, confusing the concept of rule. The target is trying to understand the ultimate ruling, suppressing the target's thinking. The concept is crushed, and the target concept is eliminated. The final verdict is complete. Boom. Bai Jian Kaiming cut down completely, Dormammu's body condensed by magic flames, under the condition of completely negating the concept, began to turn into a little bit of space dust. RO. A call came from behind Luo Teng. It was the Ancient One magician, who rushed into the Minister of the Dark Space with number 18, Ulquiorra, and Neza. You defeated Dormammu. There was an expression of disbelief in Ancient One magician's eyes. She and Dormammu have fought against Dormammu for countless years, and have fought off Dormammu on Earth, but never really defeated him. And, in the dark space, Dormammu is almost invincible. How strong would it take to defeat Dormammu here? Not beat. The corners of Luo Teng's mouth curved slightly, and the cold look on his face dissipated a lot. Between flipping hands, the Mind Gem and Time Gem, which he has been holding in his palm all the time, were taken into the system warehouse. Is Dormammu strong? Very strong. As a minister of the dark dimension that transcends time and surpasses many rules. In terms of the total amount of energy accumulated, no one is his opponent. Unfortunately, he met Luo Teng, wipe out. The Ancient One magician opened his mouth in astonishment, and the energy imprint of the dark dimension on his forehead appeared, but he could not perceive the existence of Dormammu. Dormammu really completely disappeared. Don't look, my final verdict is conceptual level death. Thought, will, and even his existence have been completely denied. Maybe one day, a new ruler will appear in the dark dimension, but that. Definitely not, it will be Dormammu. Luo Teng waved his hand, striding towards the exit where he came. Ancient One magician couldn't regain his senses for a long time, looking at the back of Luo Teng leaving gracefully, his eyes were full of shock. Conceptual death. Existence is completely denied. The final verdict. How strong? Number 18 also looked at Luo Teng's back in a daze, with an indelible shock in his eyes. Originally, after the opponent rushed into the dark dimension, she was still worried that the opponent might underestimate the enemy. Now it seems that she underestimated the president too much. No matter how powerful the quality of life is, negation at the conceptual level is fatal. A smile appeared on Naza's face, and his serious expression dissipated. With the buzzing of the Chankan circle, it returned to his neck, and he also returned to his previous appearance as a little kid. Pulling Ulquiorra, he followed Luo Teng and returned to the real world together. Luo Teng had just walked out of the dark space when a small figure ran towards him. Beat it? Claire clasped her hands in front of her chest, and asked anxiously. Well, defeated. Luo Teng touched Claire's little head, with a warm smile on his face. Denisa. Still fighting people. There is an unconcealable worry in Claire's eyes, and Denisa is the only support in her heart. If she can't stay by the other party's side, she will worry about the other party's safety. Even if she knows in her heart that Denisa is very powerful, even if she is by the other party's side, she is useless. Still fighting, an unexpected enemy appeared. Luo Teng squinted his eyes, but he didn't expect that the Dark Elves and Hela, the goddess of death, would be so crazy. Can I go together? I won't cause trouble, I will find a place to hide, and wait for your battle to end. Claire, who is not good at words, tried her best to organize her words and express her wishes. Definitely, but there is still a little thing to deal with now. Luo Teng nodded and turned to look at the destroyed street. Heaven, redefine the street. Restore the appearance before the destruction. Repair the body of the injured. The time gem appeared in his hands, glowing with green light, quickly radiating the entire New York. The engine of the heavens is activated, the high-level reality rewriting is activated, the high-level genetic definition is activated. The recovery progress is 1%, 5%, 10%. In the originally dilapidated streets, dark energy is surging. Under the panicked eyes of the crowd, all the wall fragments were disassembled and reassembled. The house was restored and the broken glass reunited. The injured people, under the ability of the heavens system, also began to recover quickly, and there was no trace of injury except for traces of blood. Although Dormammu's invasion was massive, but because Neza and others blocked it in time, no one died. The only ones who actually lost their lives in this battle were those arcane magicians killed by the Dark Zealots. Luo Teng looked at the restored street and heaved a long sigh. Holding the time gem in one hand, he tried to travel back in time a few times, but eventually gave up on the idea. Going back in time in the Marvel world, under the influence of cosmic rules, will only cause another parallel world time node, and Dormammu will also be resurrected. He is not a god, it is impossible to take care of all parallel worlds. A main Marvel world has already made him scratch his head, and another parallel world without him will only make things worse. Ancient One Magician, List of Battle Decedent. Luo Tang looked at the Ancient One Magician who came out of the dark dimension. I'll count. The Ancient One Magician nodded, with some seriousness in his eyes. They should not be obscured. The world needs to remember the heroes who defeated Dormammu. Luo Tang spoke again, and everyone was taken aback slightly by what he said. Such words are clearly telling them to transfer the credit for defeating Dormammu to these decedents. Rom. I understand. Ancient One Magician opened his mouth slightly, wanting to say something, but in the end he just nodded in response. The fluctuation of the space gate appeared behind Luo Tang. Pulling Claire, Luo Tang turned around and strode into the gate. He couldn't revive those decedents, and transferring the credit to them was the only compensation he could do. After all, without them, maybe this time, Dormammu might really succeed. Shall we go? Neza looked up at Ulquiorra. If you want to go. Ulquiorra also looked at Neza. An unexpected enemy, is it fishy? Number 18 shook his hands and pinched his waist, muttered to himself, and followed Luo Tang into the space wormhole. Neza also stopped hesitation, pulled Ulquiorra up and rushed in. The Ancient One Magician looked at the leaving crowd, took a deep breath, and turned around to count the decedent list. She believes that as long as Luo Tang goes to Asgard, any enemy will be wiped out. In Asgard, a towering flame titan proudly roared in all directions. The eternal fire sealed in the vault of Odin unites with the crown of the fiery titan Surta, and the scourge befalls Asgard. The little fox demon Yaya used the ice spell to try her best to restrain the flames within the scope of the palace. The others also tried their best to block the raging fire of the flame titan. After the flame titan Surta is combined with the eternal fire, the strength doubles step by step and increases a lot. The huge body and the inextinguishable flame made everyone feel helpless. Damn dark elves. I want you all exterminated. Seeing Surta's appearance, Hela, the goddess of death, screamed. For the dark elves, this war is revenge, and they want to destroy the whole of Asgard. For Hela, the goddess of death, Asgard is her possession and the source of her strength. No one is allowed to destroy it. Sorry, you can't go over there. Artoria stopped in front of Hela, the goddess of death, with unquestionable firmness in her eyes. Now the ordinary people in the city are being channeled, and Yaya finally blocked the flame erosion. Others are also discussing the solution. Let Hela, the goddess of darkness, pass by. Who knows if it will be a bad thing. Just now, they directly slaughtered the legion brought by the other party from the underworld. Artoria didn't think that the other party could let go of this hatred and cooperate with them to deal with the flame titan Surta. Then kill you before going there. Goddess of death Hela opened her mouth in hatred, waved her hands, endless blades of death appeared in the sky, and directly launched an intensive bombardment-like attack on Artoria. Asgard is the source of power for Hela, the goddess of death, and the longer she stays here, the stronger she becomes. In just these few hours of fighting, her strength has already doubled several times. The battle that had been dominated by Altria has gradually become evenly matched. Roar. The answer to Hela, the goddess of death, was the roar of the Lion King under Altori. With a roar, the Lion King charged towards Hela again. On the other side, Denisha, Tu Shanhonghong, Fishu, Ronning and others all gathered together, looking at Surt's questions with serious eyes. Yaya's ice can't last long. When the eternal fire is combined with the flame titan's crown, its power is almost limitless. They must come up with a solution that can solve the flame titan as soon as possible. Tu Shan's most high-level sealing technique requires 3,000 monster races to complete, and we need nearly 3 hours of preparation time. Tu Shan Honghong's voice came out, and her pretty face, which had always been calm, was a little dignified. It's too long, Sister Yaya can't last that long. Rongrong's voice sounded, and she, who had been paying attention to the battlefield, could already see the sweat dripping from Yaya's forehead. Yanzhong, do you have a solution? Madoka Camus looked at Xiao Meian at the side, her big eyes were full of worry and sympathy. The people of Asgard, many people have been affected by the flame titan. If the other side is not dealt with, this place will be completely destroyed. This world, the world rule is too strong, and my magic power cannot be reversed for such a long time. Xiao Meian pursed her mouth, unable to bear to see Madoka's disappointed gaze, but there was nothing she could do. My world-class props have also been suppressed here, so I'm afraid I won't be able to deal with him. Momonga also shook his head, although he really wanted to help, but the flame titan in front of him was too tricky. That eternal burning flame is like the nemesis of the undead. Once touched, the body of the undead will be like firewood, scattered into dots of golden sparks between the sky and the earth. This kind of natural racial restraint makes him have nothing to do. Apply for the highest level Heavenblade trial. Angel Ronning frowned and spoke. The most high level Heavenblade judgment. Can the power destroy the opponent? Denisa turned her head in surprise. She had just come into contact with the serious angel civilization, which made her deeply aware of the power of this civilization. Yes. With the white sword Kaiming stored in the arsenal of the King of the Heavens, launching the Heavenly Blade Judgment with the power of destroying stars and above is enough to destroy the opponent, but Asgard will also be destroyed as a result. Can't. Thor panicked when he heard Runing's words. What's the point of destroying the enemy if the enemy is wiped out, even the whole of Asgard is gone? This is his home. It seems that we can only prepare Tushan's sealing method, Thor, right? Ask your younger brother to assist Ya with the casket of ancient winters. Tushan Rongrong's cold voice sounded, and he was ready to take action after speaking. Wait. Baijian Kaiming is gone. The supercomputing group of the heavens has just provided the highest power computing support to the Earth. Angel Ronning exclaimed, with a terribly relieved smile on her face. Who can quietly take away the weapon arsenal medium-level highest white sword Kaiming? Who is qualified to use the highest power supercomputing group of the heavens to support the tongue? The King of the Heavens, come out. Ronning spoke softly, the eyes of the people around them lit up, and their tense spirits suddenly relaxed. It made me nervous for a long time. Rin Tasaka embraced regret with both hands, complained unhappily, and flicked her ponytails. She directly leaned on the side pillar full of satisfaction. I was so nervous just now. Madoka Kamu patted her breasts with a smile, and sat directly on the floor with a group of magical girls. They were also exhausted from the battle with the army of the underworld just now. Little sister, the president is coming back, just hold on a little longer. Tu Shanhonghong's cold voice sounded, and she could obviously feel a somewhat different sense of comfort from just now. The big brother is back. Look at me. When Yaya heard that Luo Teng was coming back soon, her face showed a bit of joy. As if eager to express herself, she put her hands together, and kept moving forward with her bare feet, pushing the ice barrier to further compress it. The Flame Titan howled again and again, but still couldn't get out of trouble. After Yaya's monster power upgrade, she has directly surpassed Tushan's big sister Hong Hong. Cooperating with the ice magic that Luo Teng gave her at the beginning, the output in a short period of time is even stronger than the Flame Titan. If it wasn't because her demon power was still insufficient, perhaps the Flame Titan Serta would have been directly defeated. Knowing that the trouble was about to be resolved, everyone in the Demon League immediately sat on the ground, enjoying the comfort after the war. The people in the great underground tomb of Nazareth knew that the strongest supreme venerable Luo was about to return, so they chatted loosely. This scene directly stimulated Hela, the goddess of death who was still fighting fiercely with Artoria in the distance. What are you guys doing? Why don't you stop it? Death goddess Hela couldn't break through Artoria. Looking at the raging fire titan Serta, she could only scream and roar. Probably, the person they have been waiting for has come. Artoria glanced at the situation in the direction of the palace behind her, and she knew it instantly. Communicating on the communication channel all day, she and the staff of the travel agency know each other very well. Whether it is Denisa, Yaya, Kame Madoka, or Tasaka Rin, they are not the ones who can sit back and watch the Flame Titan destroy Asgard. The only one who can make them relax and chat comfortably is that man. Master of the Nine Realms, Luo. Goddess of Death Hela squinted her eyes, remembering what the Dark Elves said was the initiator of all events. The opponent's strength and terror are deeply engraved in the hearts of all the Dark Elves. Even when she wooed allies before, many people ran faster than anyone else when they heard the name of Master of the Nine Realms. Can that man extinguish the Flame Titan Serta? Now, you should worry about your situation. I'm going to be serious. Artoria's body was slightly lowered, and the Lion King roared, and swooped down towards Hela, the goddess of death. When the sound of metal and iron clanging sounded, and Hela, the goddess of death, stopped the sword of the vowed victory. Artoria has blonde hair flying, with a serious and solemn expression on her face. Goddess of death Hela thumped in her heart, subconsciously retreating quickly. Getting serious? So, after fighting for so long just now, the other party never took it seriously? The goddess of death, Hela, has erratic eyes. The army under his command was wiped out, and the crisis of the Flame Titan Serta destroying Asgard was gone. Now that the division of the Nine Realms has fallen, it seems that she has no chance to stay here. Withdraw? With a feeling of retreating in his heart, Hela's left foot also retreated slightly, obviously ready to look for an opportunity to run away. This battle is not a battle against humanity. This battle is not a battle for one's own selfish desires. This battle, my enemy is not a spirit. This battle, my enemy is an evil person. This battle, king against king, is a single fight. In the name of my Artoria Pendragon. 13 Constraints. Release. Artoria held up the sword of the promised victory. Every time you read a chapter of restraint, a layer of restraint will be untied. The golden light on the sword of promised victory pierced the sky and she untied all 5 blockades in one fell swoop. Standing in front of the Lion King, Altria's blonde hair was flying, and she slashed down with her sword. Sword of promised victory. A shrill scream echoed across Asgard. Boom. The ear-piercing roar resounded through Bifrost. Bifrost couldn't withstand such a powerful attack, and every inch of it was cracked. The members of the Monster League and the Undecedent Legion who were resting swallowed their saliva at the sight of the bright golden light in the sky. King Arthur, it's really fierce. The golden light fell, and Hela, the goddess of death, was split in two. Artoria put her long sword back into its sheath, and was about to turn around and leave when she saw her body on the ground moving slightly. The body of Wanbian is like a withered rotten wood, which is the body of a normal person. The body of Hela, the goddess of death, is eerie and hair-raising. Not dead? Artoria murmured, with obvious surprise in her eyes. The attack that could cut off the stars, but failed to kill the enemy, was obviously beyond her expectations. A space wormhole appears above the shattered Bifrost. Luo Tang pulled Claire, stepped on the air, and fell straight to the chaotic space below Bifrost. Ah! Claire screamed, wrapping around Luo Tang's arm like an octopus. Luo Tang twitched his cheeks, spread his golden wings behind his back, and flew to the broken Bifrost with Claire in his arms. Damn chicken. How about a handsome appearance as promised? The soles of the feet step on the air when they appear on the stage, making woolen yarn. What? Naza's exclamation came from behind. Before the voice fell, Ulquiola pulled Neza and flew behind Luo Tang. Scrambled curses came faintly, and number 18, who also stepped on the ground, flew over with a dark face and used Wukong. Arturia was originally thinking about how to deal with Hela, the goddess of death. Seeing the appearance of a group of people, the dumb hair on the top of their heads trembled, and it was obvious that they almost couldn't hold back their laughter. Hela, the goddess of death, also sensed the arrival of several people. After being split in two, she still had a weird and ferocious smile on her face. But sensing the arrival of several people, he resolutely began to play dead. The billowing blood spread on the cracked Bifrost, and the eyes quickly became lax and the pupils dilated. Cut. Chi will not hide. Number 18 glanced at Hela, the goddess of death who was pretending to be dead on the ground, with disdain in her eyes. When she looked up at the flame titan Serta, a strange color flashed in her eyes. Judging from the perspective of Chi, the flame titan is very strong. Moreover, among the tens of thousands of troops ahead, many of them are very strong. Artoria, you started to get serious because you felt that I was coming. Luo Tang put down Claire and looked helplessly at King Dai Mao. The energy fluctuations from the untied 13th restraint of the Sword of Vowed Victory still remain in the surrounding space. Obviously, the surrounding battles have long since ended, and the underworld army of the goddess of death, Hela, has completely cooled down. Artoria dragging it to this point will end the battle, probably enjoying the long-lost battle. After all, there will no longer be a Holy Grail war in the Xingyue world. And the former Briton, after Luo Tang visited twice, embarked on a new history. Very useful. A slight smile appeared on Artoria's face, she touched the sword of promised victory at her waist, and directly changed the subject. As long as you like it, Luo Tang said helplessly. Glancing at the flame titan temporarily trapped by Yaya in the distance, he withdrew his gaze and lightly kicked Hela, the goddess of death, at his feet. Stop pretending. Odin asked me to save your life, I won't kill you. Does he still want to imprison me, damn old guy? The goddess of death's eyes suddenly became sharp, and the hoarse and old voice in her mouth penetrated like an old and worn-out tape. As the goddess of death, Hela's power is very special. Not only can she connect to the entire Asgard, her body is half decayed and half alive. Representing death, she was rejected by the simple meaning of death, and her body's ability to resist damage was extremely strong. Even if it is cut in half, it still won't die immediately. However, Arturia just cut off the clothes on her body. The clothes with the magic circuit are the magic weapon to keep Hela young and energetic. Without the clothes, under the entanglement and collision of the forces of life and death, Hela's vitality, which was not even enough to maintain her usual physical exertion, would become extremely weak. He wants to give you a chance. Luo Tang pursed his lips and sighed softly. He understands the choice Odin made as his father, and also understands the other party's responsibility as the king of Asgard. When fatherly love and responsibility are at odds with each other, what Odin can really do is extremely limited. Poor parents all over the world, even though his life is coming to an end, he still can't let go of Hela completely. Kill me. You are a knight, right? If you respect the enemy, then kill me. I have been imprisoned for more than 1,600 years. More than 1,600 years. I don't want to go back to. Hela roared with all her strength, pinning all her hopes on Artoria. I believe in the president, you will have a new life, I guarantee it in the name of the knight. Artoria put one hand in front of her chest, gave a knight's salute, turned around and walked in the direction where Rin Tasaka and others were. The people in this place, the clothes are not bad. Number 18 pushed back the blonde hair around his ears with one hand. Looking at the other side of Bifrost, the Asgardians jumped out of the royal city in a hurry. Finish that big guy, and I'll let the best tailor in the 9 realms make clothes for you. Luo Tang followed No 18 feet's eyes and saw several pretty Asgard people in long white dresses. Fairy-like temperament, with a free and lazy temperament. Even in the midst of fleeing, you can still see the unique charm of the clothes. The best tailor in the world will make clothes for you. Luo Tang said something casually, call out. A tearing air sound came, and number 18 beside him disappeared without a trace. After pushing the Wukong technique to the extreme, the speed of number 18 has already reached the point where the naked eye can't detect it. A huge hole with a diameter of more than 3 meters suddenly appeared on the supergiant ice cover that Ya condensed. Boom. The Flame Titan's head was hit instantly, and he fell to the ruins under his feet. Luo Tang looked at number 18, who was blasted by the Flame Titan Serta, and the corner of his mouth curled up slightly as he watched the waves of air rising all over his body. The most elementary level Super Saiyan can destroy the planet. An existence that can hang up and fight Vegeta Super Saiyan after transforming, facing this kind of physical opponent. It can hammer the opponent into slag in minutes. Hela, I think we could talk. Luo Tang sat cross-legged next to Hela, who was broken in half, and spoke with a relaxed expression. Life Mentor Luo, online again.